So now we have finished with the basic, what I call housekeeping configurations on a Cisco device. This is actually nothing to do with networking per se, but it is part of CCNA. And we had reached the point in our lecture, our technical lecture, where we needed to learn how to just manage or get back and forth on the operating system to do configs. Now that we're done with it, we can get back to our layer 2 and our switches. We had left off layer 2 before we moved to the configurations at configuring VLANs. We know what a VLAN is. It is basically a virtual switch inside of a switch. A VLAN, if somebody asks you at an interview, however, your answer should be that a VLAN is a layer 2 broadcast domain. I will repeat. A VLAN is a layer 2 broadcast domain. So when I said earlier that a switch by default is one broadcast domain, the reason I use the word by default is because by default, a switch really only has VLAN 1. Yes, VLAN 1002 through 1005 are present, but there are no ports assigned to that VLAN, those VLANs. So 1002 through 1005 are used for technologies that are not used anymore, but Cisco likes being backwards compatible. Hence, they still support those VLANs. For example, VLAN 1002 is used for token ring. Token ring, for the most part, in first world and second world countries, it's not used anymore. So in effect, the switch really has one operational VLAN, which is VLAN 1, which means there is one broadcast domain, which means a switch by default is one broadcast domain. However, if you have multiple VLANs, let's say you have 3 VLANs on a switch, total of 4, including VLAN 1, then you have 4 broadcast domains on that switch. So the answer to what a VLAN is should be that a VLAN is a layer 2 broadcast domain. Now, there are 2 types of links that can exist on a switch. And the word link is synonymous with the word port. So there are 2 types of ports or links that can exist on a switch. The first one is your access links or your access ports. And the second one is your trunk links. So first, I'm going to cover what access links are, and then we're going to cover the configuration for access links, and then we'll follow that up with the theory part of what trunk links are, and then we're going to configure trunk links. An access link. An access link is any link on a switch, or an access port is any port on a switch that carries or is part of one VLAN. So by default, right now, let's say we saw our switches, switch 1, switch 2, switch 3, switch 4, or by default, you saw that all ports on that switch belong to VLAN 1. So all those belong to only one VLAN at a time, the VLAN being VLAN 1. All those are access links or access ports. So access ports belong only to one VLAN at a time. Once again, my little box, which I call a switch, this is switch 1. Let's say I have several PCs attached to this switch. PC1, PC2, PC3. And let's say this port is port 1, this is P2, and this is port 3, or P3. So let's say P1 belongs to VLAN 1. Port 2 belongs to VLAN 10. Port 3 belongs to VLAN 150. If port 1 belongs to VLAN 1, then port 1 belongs to only one VLAN at a time, which is VLAN 1. Port 1 is going to be an access link. Port 2 only belongs to VLAN 10. Port 2 is an access link. Port 3 belongs to VLAN 150. So port 3 is an access link. So when a port on a switch only belongs to one VLAN or is part of only one VLAN, it is an access link. For the most part, at your jobs, if you are network engineers or junior network engineers, all the switch ports that go connect to PCs at the other end are access ports. If I were to tell somebody, hey, on switch 1, put PC2 on port 2, or just put PC2 in VLAN 10. So go to switch 1 and put PC2 in VLAN 10. What I mean is that go to switch 1, look up the port PC2 is connected to, which is port 2, and put that port on the switch in VLAN 10. So when I ask somebody to go put a device in a certain VLAN, what I'm actually saying is look up the port that device is connected on and put that port in that specified VLAN. So when you create a VLAN and then you put a port inside of a certain VLAN, the device connected at the end becomes part of that VLAN. I am going to show you how to actually create access links on a switch.